Deven Choksey, MD of Choksey Securities, joins us right now on the show. Deven, really good having you as always. Thanks for joining in. A lot of talk about how the gas pricing decision could have a big bearing on the oil and gas stocks naturally, but it may also help the market sustain its momentum. One, do you expect it as early as this week? And two, would it mean further rally in stocks like ONGC and possibly even a Reliance?
Yeah, good morning, Neeraj. Well, I think as far as the timing is concerned, the timing couldn't have been better than I think what we are probably asking for in this particular week. Largely because of two or three reasons. In order to, I think go and meet the investors, I think you need to talk about the kind of measures that you take, and that's where I'm referring to the visit of PM to America. To my mind, I think this is given that the measures are being taken for various areas, and I think oil and gas being one of the most important area. As I have talked before, I believe that in most likelihood situation, you will see the gas price increase would be granted, and I think it would be in stages. Probably I think currently we are listening that I think it might go up to $6, and thereafter gradually I think in the course of year I think would be brought it up to the $8.5 I think in two tranches. So I think from that perspective a clear roadmap is being laid down, like it was laid down in case of petrol and diesel for market driven prices. I think the gas prices could also find its way to the market driven prices eventually. So to a greater extent I think it would probably give a lot of confidence to investors. My reading says that I think many of the oil PSU stocks, they may be in for a structural upside going forward. We have already seen, I think, the upside in many of the OMCs, but the large cap, particularly I think the large size upstream companies like ONGC, Oil India, would find a bigger favor from investors to add them into the portfolio. So I would rather think that I think this is a positive move, likely to be positive move, and this is where I think most of the stocks would probably get re-rated. Whether I think we will see appreciation in a faster period of time, I think difficult to say. But those who want to invest and stay invested, I think for them it would be a good news if the gas price hike is given. And certainly Reliance along with ONGC, Oil India would be better choices I think that one could look for and adding them into the portfolio.
Deven, do you track NBCC as a stock, and do you like it despite the run-up that we've seen already?
Neeraj, from the potential point of view, you get a lot of visibility in this company for sure. I think the kind of new business that they are likely to execute, and maybe it may take 3 years or so, I think, after which you may start seeing the actual impact on the books. But the best part of this particular business is that it is creating a visibility of next 3 to 5 years, and that's where I think you might probably see that the stock would remain premium traded. Of course, in the near term, I would believe that the opportunity is probably, I think, one will have to wait for buying afresh into the portfolio. But if one wants to buy and stay long-term invested, then any correction in the market could be used, because the valuation scores at the premium, and correction I think would give you an opportunity to buy at a reasonably lower price, I think, if at all it comes down to. Then in that case I think you can stay invested, and probably I think you can keep the investment for at least 3 to 4 years maybe, because that kind of visibility is required for buying stock with the premium valuation. I like the business, of course, but at the same time I think would like to buy, I think, when the market gives opportunity in the corrective downside.
Deven, it seems the decision on gas pricing, which was much eagerly awaited, could be just 24 to 72 hours away from right now. What's the sense that you're getting about A, what would come about, and B, how would you approach names like an ONGC or Reliance based on your assumption?
Well, I believe that already this particular aspect is looked at very favorably by the market. Market definitely has a buzz that I think the gas prices would increase, and increase to a market-driven price, I think, gradually. But to begin with, I think the first rise could be, I think, somewhere around $6 per BTU. So to a greater extent, I think believe that the possibilities are there as far as the gas price hike is concerned, and that is factored into the market. However, I believe that the stocks would get re-rated. Both ONGC as well as Reliance looks interestingly positioned, and to my mind I think both these stocks are promising to produce higher amount of gas going forward from KG-D6. So all put together, I believe that the re-rating would be on cards as far as the stocks are concerned, and that's why I believe that I think one could stay invested into this stock and probably keep the portfolio intact at least for next 3 to 5 years. It's a structural boom which I see in the oil and gas business, and that's where I think upstream companies like Oil India, ONGC, Reliance could be much better and preferred.
Deven, within the paint space, would it be Asian Paints or would you like something else out here?
Well, Neeraj, we probably I think believe that if one wants to be in this particular space, then probably Asian Paint is the best proxy. It's a premium traded stock undoubtedly, and at the same time I believe that I think in this market, which is assumed I think a structural bull run, probably I think premium would start getting better premium. That's what I believe. And that's where I think one will have to look at the growth in the business. If the growth in the business is conducive enough, which Asian Paint promises, probably I think you would see a larger amount of comfort I think to hold the stock into the portfolio. I'm not suggesting buy afresh, but comfort to hold the stock into the portfolio. And as Nikunj rightly narrated, probably I think the factor is turning positive for the company because the petrochemical prices are coming down or likely to come down with the fall in the crude oil prices. So to a greater extent, I think that will ensure better profitability for the company as well. So along with the volume growth and the profitability, I think it gives you the comfort level to hold the stock into the portfolio. Again, I think to buy such kind of premium traded stocks, I think one will have to really buy them in the corrective market. If at all market gives opportunity whenever, I think you should consider buying them into the portfolio when the correction is on.
Deven, I want to get you in on Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland. If you were to stack up both of these, which one would you pick out for a fresh investment now?
Well, I think looking at the valuation at which Tata Motors is quoting vis-a-vis Ashok Leyland, I think certainly the case is for Tata Motors. And I think if I have to select between the two. And I think Nikunj just summarized almost I think every aspect of it. I think just add one part. If the rate of interest starts coming down, which in all likelihood will at some point of time in the second half of the financial year, to my mind I think you would probably see the higher amount of credit uptake benefiting the automobile industry in general and more particularly to the commercial vehicle space. And that's where I believe that I think this is one area which one could possibly I think consider buying the Tata Motor kind of a company into the portfolio. In the last quarter, probably I think they have seen the better of the performance coming in from the local side as far as the cost management is concerned. And most of the, I think the write-offs which were to take place, including some of the VRS, I think that has been already over in the books. So obviously I think with the encouraging booking numbers of the new passenger vehicle disasters, along with the likely offtake of the commercial vehicle segment in the second half of the financial year, domestic market portfolio for Tata Motors should certainly do well. JLR certainly has I think lot of new products which are coming up in 14, balance part of the 14 and 15 thereafter. To a greater extent, I think it is likely to drive the numbers for the international market portfolio of Tata Motors in passenger vehicle. So overall, I am more confident about Tata Motors, and if I have to buy, I could also consider buying into the DVR stock of Tata Motors, which could possibly give slightly better appreciation compared to the underlying stock as far as investment is concerned.